Today, we're going to be talking about what an underwriter does, and is the underwriter killing your dream of home ownership? If you're new to the channel, I've been a mortgage lender for 18 years, which means 18 years working with underwriters. My team's one of the top teams in the nation. We can help you everywhere in the US. So if you want a loan officer that knows their guidelines, works well with underwriters, and knows how to get you to the finish line, 786-933-2077. Okay, I see it on social media all the time. I'll see like Instagram reels where a loan officer is like, me fighting with the underwriter for you. I'll see on Reddit, I've been in contract for 3 months and I just got declined by the underwriter. Here's the thing. Realistically, your file should never be declined at underwriting. That is where it would get declined, but it should never take 3 months. A good loan officer knows guidelines. That's the key, guys. A good loan officer knows guidelines. A lot of times because of YouTube, I tell all of you guys, like, call me if someone's declining you, because a lot of times people are getting declined when they should get approved. And it's because the loan officer doesn't know guidelines, or they don't know how to illustrate to the underwriter why this is a good loan, okay? That's one of the things why when I see like videos where people are like, oh, just go with the lender with the cheapest rate, none of it matters. I'm like, yeah, The biggest thing a loan officer does is we structure your file for underwriting. So you fill out an application, we go through the application with you because in our head, we're structuring it. There is structure involved. Then we're asking for all your documents. I fully underwrite all my pre-approvals because I do know that underwriting is what's most stressful for buyers because of what's on social media. So I want you guys through underwriting before you start house shopping, because you'll have a way less stressful experience. It doesn't matter if I tell you 700 times, you're good, don't stress out. People feel so much better once the underwriter has rubber stamped their file. So our processors, we look at your application, we go through it. Our processors are going to ask you for documents. So the processors, Maria, Chadwick, Mallory, they're asking for documents based on your application to make sure it matches, because ultimately they give your file to the underwriter. What does an underwriter do? A lot of what underwriters do right now is they're just verifying that the information that you're giving is accurate based on the documentation. That's it. Clean file, no drama. All they're doing, do the pay stubs match the application? Yes. Is there anything we're missing? No. Does the credit report look good? Yes. Are the bank statements matching the application? Yes. Is there anything we're missing? No. That's it. That's it. Now look, there are loans where underwriters do more, and when there's more complicated situations, there's more for an underwriter to think about. But a lot of times when people are getting declined in underwriting, and I see it online and then I talk to them, it's because of something really stupid. It's like the application, the home buyer's like, yeah, I'm self-employed, I make 10K a month. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, where are your tax returns? And then I look at the tax returns and they make like 3K a month, right? Because of write-offs. So the other lender basically was like, you're good, go shopping, and just gave the tax returns to the underwriter without ever looking at them. So the underwriter's like, hey, you make 3K, not 10K, this doesn't work, declined, and the underwriter's the bad guy. And it's like, no, like it just doesn't match, okay? And there's a lot of that. There's also a lot of loan officers that don't know guidelines at all, and they just submit files. They're treating you like a pasta noodle to see if you'll stick. And if you'll stick, great, they make a paycheck. And if they don't, oh well, right? That's one of the problems with the industry right now. When I got in 18 years ago, I had mentors. I had people that made it really clear to me, you better not embarrass us. Here's a book, go read it. Here's the link to the Fannie Mae guidelines, go read them, And then I had underwriters that I befriended where I would say, hey, how does this work? How does this work? How does that work? I still do that today. And here's the thing too, my team, we reach out to underwriters every single day. And the reason is there's a lot of scenarios where you need an underwriter's opinion, because beyond just the matching, if a file's more complicated, a lot of times it's up to underwriter discretion. So if I think about all the underwriters that I've worked with over the last 18 years, I would say 90% are great. 90% know their guidelines. They want to help the home buyer, legally, right? Because you don't want an underwriter that's like getting a whiteout bottle and helping you commit mortgage fraud. That's a problem. 90% are great. But look, do we hit sometimes underwriters that are terrible? Yeah, it's just like any other job, right? Like there's good loan officers, bad loan officers, good real estate agents, bad real estate agents. There's good underwriters and bad underwriters. Now, what's a sign of a bad underwriter? It's someone who, generally it's temperament, to be honest. It's someone who's just mad. You don't even know why they're mad, but they're just mad. It's like you give them a perfect file and they come up with like busy work, right? It could be because they just want to punish the loan officer. Not kidding, it's a thing. Or it could be because they're scared. Okay. And the sign of a scared underwriter is asking for a ridiculous amount of letters of explanation. Letters of explanation can be a great tool to make your file easier to approve. I use them a lot, especially if it's a complicated file. I'll ask you guys up front, or my team will say, hey, can you explain XYZ? Sometimes we wait to see if the underwriter calls it out. A lot of times we call it out ahead of time. We try to anticipate what they're going to need because that gets you a better chance of approval. Sometimes we hit underwriters where they're just ridiculous. I don't know what they're mad about, but they're like, it's a perfect file. They're like, I want a letter for why the buyer's still with their employer. I'm like, what? They've been there for 5 years. Yeah, with no raise. Okay, that's just America. Like, yeah, I agree. Wage stagnation sucks, but what do you want them to say? Well, I need to know why they haven't looked for more employment. That's not a requirement of the loan. Show me your guideline, right? That's the thing you guys need to know. You want to make sure that you're working with a loan officer where if they hit one of these rough underwriters, they know how to push back. Because you may be like, well, I'll just write the letter. Guys, one of those letters can get super weird really quick. If for instance you write, well, that's a great idea. I'm going to start looking for a new job now. They could decline your loan because you're telling them that you're going to look for a new job. Therefore, you don't have job stability. You were never even going to look for a new job. You were happy at your employer until Barbara, the evil underwriter, asked you to write a letter of explanation why you haven't gotten a raise in 5 years. You weren't even paying attention to wage stagflation. That was a lot. I'm like Mariah Carey. I'm Mariah Carey of mortgages. Like she does it with the notes. I do it with the spitting about underwriters. Okay, I digress, sorry. Anyways, so yes, sometimes we hit bad underwriters. The key is being able to argue with them. The other thing is like realistically at this point in my career, how often do I hit them? Really rare. And, I'm now at a point at least where if I hit a bad underwriter, my team escalates it to management and it goes away like that. The reason it goes away like that, it's not because we're doing anything shady or against guides, but it's because I've been doing this for so long. My team knows how to structure files. We're as clean as it comes. We do make sense loans. We never want you guys to get hurt. Everyone knows that we're never trying to put something shady through. So if an underwriter comes up with like 15 conditions that are fake, management's going to look at that and be like, yeah, no, that doesn't make sense. So look, as a buyer, should you be scared of the underwriting process? No, guys, you shouldn't, but I understand why you are. And in fairness, like if you don't know the loan officer that you're working with, you could be working with someone that's going to treat you like a pasta noodle that doesn't know what they're doing, that's not checking your documents, that could give you a fake pre-approval letter where you end up wasting your earnest money, inspections, and you end up in a situation where you lose a ton of money. Yeah, I can see why you want to get it through underwriting. So if you have any concerns about underwriting, what I would strongly suggest is make sure you're working with a lender who will do a fully underwritten pre-approval upfront. Just call us, 786-933-2077. If you're watching this going, I'm just scared I'm going to get declined because of, call us, guys. Call us, get on the calendar. Tell us all your fears. Seriously, we'll tell you if it's a problem or not. A lot of times people will say, well, 2 years ago, I didn't pay Macy's. Okay. Have you paid them since? Yeah, but I have a late. I don't care. It's fine. It's fine. I don't care. You're fine. I promise you, you're okay. Right? A lot of times the stuff that you guys are scared about, it's not real. So always reach out. We're here to help you. But the bottom line is this: underwriters aren't bad people. 90% are amazing. 10% suck. But the 90%, their whole job is to make sure that everything matches and that it meets guidelines. A good loan officer will structure your loan appropriately so that when you go to underwriting, it's smooth and easy and it's not a rocky ride where they're digging to find the truth. I hope this video was helpful and not too rambly. I think it was. Sorry, guys. Anyways, questions, comments, as always, feel free to reach out.